Hello and hi, welcome to this Devstream number 57 live from Copenhagen. As you all know, this is Reto Rebjarne, our lovely game director.
Hello.
Hello, hi, and I'm Simon, or Silvermat, and I'm the PR marketing dude. I'm new around here at the Heroes and Generals headquarters. So yeah,
might want to say that Gargamel is sick. He's not exploded or anything.
He didn't just disappear. I'll just be sitting in this one session, and hopefully he'll be back very, very soon. So last week we had Cotton Gamer hosting our Twitch channel for us, and we'd very much like to thank him for that. That was really awesome.
Thank you, Cotton. Awesome.
Awesome work. And as something special, we had our annual Christmas party vacation thingy last Friday, and we had some party, and actually we went to a shooting range, and we have these really awesome photos we'd like to show you. So
we went to fire some pistols all the way from the caliber 22 all the way up to Magnum.
I guess this one is 22, right? Yeah, this one is.
I think 22. That's one of the red dot ones with red dot sights, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like it. And well, of course, we went up to something bigger.
Revolver.
How was it to shoot it?
I personally prefer the revolvers. That's my thing. I think it's at least my my targeting was a lot better with the revolver.
Much easier, yeah. Well, personally, I prefer the 9mm, which we got here.
I found one of the revolvers was kind of hard to, because it had like this grip that was sort of like a formed to a hand thingy.
Yeah.
So I would imagine if your hands wasn't completely in the same size, it would feel awkward to hold it. I think that's why many thought it was difficult to hold the...
I got these really weird small hands. I couldn't really grip the revolver probably. But get some more shots of the 9mm, and yeah, there we go, the big one again. And everybody gets to shoot it. Look at the gloves. It looks really cool, the black gloves.
That was one of the QA guys. He was just like, didn't want to wait, just bam, 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 bam. Everything had to be shot as quickly as possible.
Yeah, that's about it for the photos. Just a quick server announcement. All the servers are A-OK. They're running smoothly and fine. We've received a few reports about connectivity issues from Southeast Asia, as we are currently investigating, but it should not be a problem.
Connectivity issues, as in people getting disconnected, or just...
Currently we are investigating it.
Okay, because there is something with the... sometimes people get disconnected during the games and stuff, but it's I know it's something that the guys are looking into to see if there's anything on our end, because we couldn't detect apparently anything on our monitoring tools. So yes, it looks like the servers are actually behaving really well. So hopefully we can get back to developing the game and not distinguishing fires in the server room.
And remember, it's the holidays coming up, so make sure to play lots and lots of Heroes and Generals.
Yeah.
We've started a forum thread concerning a list of tech design issues and features, which we would like to share with you. And we could go into details with some of the points.
It's because obviously there's a lot of questions, or mostly you could say like questions and complaints that we sort of like hear all the time, hear them again and again, and obviously we would like to answer them again and again, because when people ask, it's because they don't know. And usually people post the questions in the forums, and some on the older forum or the older community members will be kind enough to answer some of the questions. But we actually thought it would be a better idea to just collect the most asked questions / complaints and just put them in a fixed locked thread where we give our our view on it, like the status of it, saying that this is how we're currently, this issue is currently being handled by us, and if there's a solution coming up, when can we expect it to come up? So it's more like you should see it as a list of, we know this is broken / bad, and we regard it as being this and this and this, and the solution might be this. Just so you don't, you can always refer to that list. It is, I think, a thing we need to address here. Obviously, we have we collect information from especially from the forums, but also from in-game and from our QA department, and that sort of like feedback gets distilled into some issues that we know there's in with the game. And our idea with this like public list is that every week when we go through the QA list, we'll go through this list as well, and sort of like modify it or change it or like remove the stuff that actually was fixed or put something new on it. So it'll be sort of like a list that you can follow to see if to see the status of the game. It's one of our you say like it's a thing where we would try to sort of give you guys a little bit more feedback on what we do with the game and what our thoughts are.
This is, I guess, this Devstream we could elaborate on some of the points made in the thread.
Yeah, we thought we're gonna pick a few of them and just give you a little talk about them.
For quite a while now, everybody's been asking about the bipods.
Yeah.
So, Jacob, what's the status on bipods?
You can say that the bipod was actually planned to go into the Y update. And I think it came pretty far. It came even as far as the programmer dealing with it was keen enough to post a screenshot on Reddit with some of the bipods. But when it hit the QA department, there still was. We figured there was too many cases where it just didn't work well enough, so we just sort of like put it a bit on hold. And once he's ready, he will go back and start working on it again. The thing is, the bipod system is very dynamic, which means it's not a system where the level designers or graphic artists have to go in and say this has to be a place where you can put your bipod. It's a system that actually tries to detect itself and figure out is there enough room here? Does it make sense to position my bipods? And a system that is that dynamic obviously is prone to having a lot of you could say false negatives or whatever, like weird stuff that you can do with it instead. And we just we judged that there was too many odd cases for it to be releasable. I think it needs a bit more work, but I still think so far what I've seen of it, it's pretty cool.
It's looking really promising.
Yeah, so it's nice. So you will probably be looking at this bipod thing on the list for a while yet, but we are working on it.
Another question that's been popping up quite a lot is let's see where we got it. It's the car handling improvements.
Reducing the sliding, yeah. Unfortunately, again, it's the same programmer who's doing the bipod is also doing the physics part of the game, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, that the current status on this on the car handling is that there is actually a new system that makes the cars handle a lot better, but it has been made as a parallel system to the one we already got, and the guys that are setting up the vehicles would actually like to have proper time to actually transfer each vehicle to the new system. So it will be something that we'll take one car at a time and say, now we'll deal with this and do all the tweaking of the parameters. And it's quite complicated to actually set up a vehicle. People might not know this, but physics in video games are not just like like physics in the real world. It's approximation, so there's always going to be strange situations where the physics just goes nuts, and you have to put a lot of time into actually tweaking the right values. So But it's definitely something that is underway. So you'll probably the same thing as you saw the suddenly the super flip bike became unflippable. I think the same thing will happen with the Jeeps and the vehicles. Is that as we go through them, you will see that they start to correct and handle better. So
Yeah, as you mentioned, previous updates have seen several tweaks to several vehicles.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess we're working on getting more vehicles tweaked and improved.
A lot of times it's about for us it's about time. It's about where should we put our time, where should we put our efforts, and every gamer has a different opinion on certain issues. So everybody for themselves would probably come up with a different prioritized list of you should fix this first before you fix this, and why don't you fix this before this. So it's you could say like we try our best to actually put our time in where we think it matters the most. And obviously it will always piss some people off that, hey, why don't you fix this first instead of this and this and this. But I can assure you that we actually think a lot about how the game performs on an overall basis when we make these decisions. It's not so we're deliberately trying to piss people off.
Speaking of vehicles, another question that's been asked a lot is how you can prevent other players to disrupt your gameplay by ruining.
It's also like
ruining your strategy, as vehicle passengers can be annoying, basically.
Yes, the vehicle passengers can be annoying thing has been in the game for a long time. Actually, it's because it's the way the logic is set up with the seats and the guns and how it's linked. Where you as the in the tanks, you're sort of like the main driver, and you switch between the main cannon and the driving seat. But you don't do that for example, in the recon vehicles or in any other vehicles that has support weapons attached to it, which means that you cannot really control who is able to jump in and shoot that gun. It can be extremely annoying, especially with the recon vehicles, where you're actually trying to flank or sneak up on somebody, and then just some dude jumping in and just start firing away on everything, and you can't do anything to get him out of the car. Super annoying. It requires a bit more work to actually fix it. It's going to be fixed in the up and coming squad build. Unfortunately, I have to say something a little bit about the squad stuff as well. We have been working for a long time now on the squad system. Actually, it's past several builds where we thought now it should be ready for this, now it should be ready for this, and it's actually been pushed a bit, which also from our point of view is a bit frustrating, but that's how it is. Some features seems to be the squad feature seems to be one where it ties into so many like areas of the game that we didn't anticipate that it also does this, so we have to change this, and changing this changes this and this, so it just became like a huge web of minor, like something that you would say like minor changes, but when it just adds up, and it's the work is spread out between a lot of different programmers and artists. It suddenly becomes a very complicated feature, but it is moving forward as fast as we can do it, and when it's out, it is going to have the feature in where you can actually choose who will be able to use the support weapons in your vehicle, which means like obviously that would be your squad members, because you are much more in control of who is in your squad. And if some douchebag starts firing away, you can actually kick him from your squad, and then he will not be able to use the weapons anymore.
For those who haven't heard about Squad 2.0, could you quickly describe what it is?
Yes, it's well, I shouldn't spill too many.
Just
we would like to obviously do a bit more talk about it when it's closer to finish, because we will not show anything right now on it. But yeah, basically the squad system is you can say we think that the game is so much better when you play together in a small group than when you play alone. Obviously, there's always going to be the lone wolf who just want to be recon and snipe people from afar. But also the recons tend to be they like to work in teams of 2 or 3 or something like that. So we changed the whole flow of the game into that you actually always play in a squad. The squad is sort of like the center of the game, and you had to opt out of the squad rather than opt into it, which I think is going to change the whole experience quite a lot. But
it's really exciting.
Yeah, so, and we're also playing a little bit around with these things where we try to have a bit of of overlap on the classes, so you can sort of like say it's not only an infantry squad. You'll be able to maybe have a recon slot in your infantry squad as well. So that's I think, but I'm not going to say
we're not going to spill the beans, just so we have a basic idea about what squad 2.0
and obviously the whole thing about who are able to control my weapons in my vehicle sort of like belongs into the whole playing with other people area, which is why it's put into the squad system. But it is something that we are definitely fixing. Another thing, from our point of view, it's annoying to have this thing in the game where you can't control the secondary weapons on the tanks, because that also means that you cannot equip different ammunition on your support weapons. For example, you cannot choose what kind of ammunition that goes into the heavy machine gun on the tank. For example, that would be nice to be able to fix that. Maybe even modding the secondary weapons. And as soon as you get that stuff into where it starts to use the no problem. When you start to put stuff in that affects the player's economy, then it's kind of dangerous that he's not in control of it. So it's we figured that we'll leave that one out. But obviously, as soon as you have control over the guns, it becomes obvious that you should be able to mod those guns as well, and choose the ammunition and stuff. So it makes sense for us that you can.
So there you got it, a small teaser of what Squad 2.0 will bring. It will bring a lot more. Let's quickly move along to the M1919 LMG site flip down question.
Where is it?
It's located on page 3.
I have the questions as well here, so I'm just gonna check out what.
I'll just highlight it for you guys. There you go. So basically, some players have petitioned for the M1919's Iron site to be flipped down. And, it takes a lot of the site picture.
It's just to this comedy. This is probably something that's going to annoy a lot of players, but we tested it a few times, and I think yes, it's annoying when you want to have the full vision. But that's one of the things that is just the limitation of this particular LMG, is that the sites block your vision in some areas. We are, and we have to discuss that several times before. At some point, we would like to make sure that you could switch out the iron sights on your guns, and at that point, you'll probably be presented with a few more options on the M1919 gun. When we look at the statistics of this LMG compared to the other ones, it's doing pretty good. It's not that it's not performing well. It's actually performing really well. So it's I think it's more like a perception thing than it's is a hindrance for players. It's just something that's that you think you should. It annoys your vision, but that's just one of the limitations of this particular gun.
It's part of the gameplay experience.
Yeah, you could say that. It's just a part of it. If we were to remove it, as people like to do, we would have to somehow nerf the gun in other ways, and I'm pretty sure people wouldn't like that. So learn to play with it, and that's the only thing I can actually say.
Well, speaking of mods or modding weapons, there's been some players asking for more weapons upgrades for the STGs or the elite infantry weapons.
You want to have that weapon to be more OP? What?
more powerful. It's pretty awesome as it is. So
Yeah, I don't think it needs a lot more. Maybe something that just makes it handled differently. We are, I can safely say, that's considering between every build if there are some of the weapons that need a different mod or new mod or something that can do it a little bit differently. So and it's not difficult to put it in. So if you have any ideas, obviously you could just discuss it on the forums, and we might put it in if we find it that it fits. Yeah, that's kind of like the answer for that.
So yeah, right. Moving swiftly along, we have a question about the deploy numbers of tanks and airplanes, which is this one on page 5.
The deploy. Oh yeah, that's a good one too. Currently, there can be endless amount of tanks and planes active at the same time. Players prefer the limitation that once existed. I totally understand that, and again, this is it seems like every excuse we have for anything, everything is like Squad 2.0, Squad 2.0. But it's the truth here that with the squad system comes a much better way for us to control how many players are active in the missions, obviously, because they are now boxed into squads. So, and that will limit the number of tankers and planes in the missions. Until then, you just have to fight harder.
Fight harder! I just noticed we got this great question about grenade spam. We just recently introduced the new encounter map, the depot map, which is it's close quarters combat. So I guess some of the players are wondering or complaining about there are too many grenades being thrown at them in the game.
Yeah, we are doing some tweaks on that for the next update, but we're also looking in a longer term having a system where grenades are not. Shouldn't be that much of a problem. I think one of the things that issues arise with one of the discussions that are going on, at least in here, about the grenade spam is that on the larger maps and in the larger battles, grenades are not that much of a problem. And it's actually nice to have a lot of grenades because you can use them, and they're
very versatile.
They're more suitable for the large maps. But it clearly shows in the encounter map that close proximity action is just way too much. Then it's too many grenades. We try to fix it in the level design by having a lot of cover, so it's and it actually is, if you don't just run into everything, it's actually fairly easy to hide from the grenades because there's a lot of cover, but it's still, I must agree that there's quite a lot of grenades. So but for us it's kind of like finding a balance of we wouldn't like just remove the grenades because then you'll need them for the large map, so we'll. But we are looking into several different tweaks we can do to it.
Well, speaking about balance, there's a question about faction balance. So some players have been asking, when my side has more players online than the others, overpop, we sometimes join battles with more players than the opposing faction, leading to balancing problems.
Yeah. Let me see.
You got that one?
It will always be a problem in a game like this that you can say like that there would be the way World of Tanks fixes this, for example, is to just mix every different faction, because then you can always, it's much easier to match people up. In our game, we as you plenty of players know, we clearly have some factions that are more preferred than others, and that just creates a natural imbalance in the game, which you can only fix by mixing the faction, and I do not think that people would like that, just having a World of Tanks style mix it all up thing. So the consequence of that is more waiting time, and that's there really isn't any way to fix it. We have tried to to do a little bit on it in the action game, where you have this overbooking of matches. So you actually usually it's the Germans that are hit hard by this. Let more Germans in that there's players in the other factions, and then let them, you say, like sit over, wait a little bit longer in the action game, because we figured that it's better to be in the game and play a bit rather than just sitting outside of the game and not play at all. And obviously we would like to not force people to play another faction, because that would be another way to fix it. Let's say you have to play this, or there's no more Germans available, you can only play the other two factions. It's also kind of like sucks to have that kind of like a solution for it. So it really isn't a problem that can easily be solved. We try to do it a bit more with, like, for example, the underdog bonus, and that's just, so we give incentives for players to join the other factions. And again, something that, it's not that we punish the Germans for being so many. We try to reward the other factions for choosing that faction. So it's something that we're looking into good solutions for, but it's one of those things that are very hard to balance.
Lastly, before we move along, there's this question about being able to disable soldiers. We've received some complaints, some comments about players not being able to delete the soldiers.
Yeah, obviously there's two things here. There's sometimes we have there's some bugs or some incidents where a player actually accidentally bought more than one soldier, or bought several soldiers, and now he just want to get rid of the extra ones, and you can't delete them. In that case, you'll just contact support, and they'll help you set that stuff straight. Some of our veteran players might remember that at some point we actually had functionality for the players to actually delete stuff, but it turns out that you just get the opposite problem. Oh, I accidentally deleted my soldier. Can I get him back? So it's kind of like, so we just removed all the delete stuff, and if people really want to delete their soldiers, they can contact support, and that's kind of like the only solution.
Contacting support.
Because it's not enough to have a yes/no window come up. If people accidentally delete their soldiers, they will be pissed and say, "I want my soldier back." So I think it's better to just we could. If you don't want to see them in the interface, I think we could do something with, like, hide this or whatever. So it's more like it's more like a safe thing. If you don't want to look at it, we actually the UI team did some nice things recently with the filters, so we can actually filter out all the other like both the classes and the factions, which should for the few of you who have like 30 plus soldiers, it should make it a bit more easy to see. So
yeah,
that's kind of like the thing.
Contacting support means contacting Gargamel, if you're there. This month, with the last update, we ran out of letters in the alphabet with the Jukov update.
We actually didn't run out of letters.
Not in Denmark.
Not in the best alphabet in the world.
The Danish one.
We just figured that people wouldn't understand.
So we're coming up with the AA build.
We should stop calling it AA. It's just the A build.
It's the A build, and we want the A update. I'm terribly sorry. And previously we have named our updates after famous generals, and this time we thought, hey, what about we name it? And how about we call it name it after heroes of World War II? So we would like you, our players, our heroes, to help us find a name, a proper name for the upcoming update. So we posted a forum. We posted a blog post.
Great.
With both a list of previous updates and a link to a forum thread in which you can post suggestions for what you would like to see the A update named. We can see, you can see it shown over here. So we got a couple of different ones.
Wow, that's a lot.
Let's see, Frank Maxwell Andrews. I'm not gonna try to pronounce the Russian ones, but nonetheless, post a response in this forum thread and see if yours gets picked. Ooh. Also, we still got the Christmas event going on, and this weekend we got the elite infantry weapons in the Christmas crates. So it's the AVS 36 and the M1 M2 carbine and the German STG 44.
So you should expect to see a lot more of those nasty weapons when you play the game, because new players will get access to them as well. So it's danger.
It's danger, and they are actually really, really fun to play with. To be honest, I'm really not that good at the game yet, but also, as with every other day in December, you still get the 5 times increase in first battle of the day bonus in gold. And what else should I remember to mention while I'm at it? The Christmas.
Can you look at some of the names on the...
Some of the names for the... that's not the one. This is the one. So we got a broad selection of... I guess he's British, English, and we got a couple of Americans. And... Well, as I said before, I'm not going to try to pronounce the Russian ones.
Wow, there's a lot.
All right.
How are we gonna pick the name, or is it something that we're gonna vote about, or what? Or are we just gonna randomize a pick?
I guess at this I guess the idea is the community, our heroes, will get to suggest the names, and we will pick the one we will find most suitable.
Can we click some of the...
So we will obviously rig it.
Yeah, we will rig it. Actually, Gargamel is not here today, so you will get the honor to try to pronounce the name of this fine gentleman.
Ahmed Khan Sultan.
The Ahmed Khan Sultan. And we also have the Cray Abrams.
Creighton Abrams.
Creighton Abrams. Do you think the Abrams tanks is named after him?
I would definitely believe so. Yes.
Well, it looks like it, doesn't it? Well, he's a famous World War II general. Well, he led the 4th Armored Division.
Just let me. Den skal du lige sørge for ikke dukker op i.
So yeah, sorry, got thrown off track for a second. So yeah, back to the name of our heroes. Find one. Try to look through history books. See if you can find one that's not on the list.
I think the thing is that it has to start with an A, right?
No, actually, the last name has to start with A.
All right, so not the surname. It has to be the surname.
It has to be the surname, yes.
Yeah, and this Ahmed Khan guy is actually because it's the surname that comes first, because it's a Middle Eastern type name, Asian name.
I think he's. Let's see. He is. He was a Soviet fighter pilot. It does not really say where he
Crimean
is from.
Tartar.
Crimean Tartar.
Yeah.
I have no idea how the naming convention works.
Yes. Yeah, but it's still, it makes sense. It's the A build, so obviously the name has to start with an A. And it has to be a hero, right?
It has to be a hero, yes.
Yes, so no more generals. And no more, and that's fine. Actually, I think that some of the community guys actually guessed that it would be heroes, that it would make sense to be heroes. But to be fair, it was decided just recently, right, that it should be heroes rather than something else, because I think there is something about being able to market or to sell in this is an update. For new players, it might be weird that we use strange names.
It changed all of a sudden.
Yeah, so again, you guys are gonna try and label the build with something else as well, right?
Yeah, we just had the Armored Ambush update.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll see what future updates will bring.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it was natural. We're going from generals. Our game is called Heroes and Generals. So yeah, Heroes and Generals suits the theme. Well, I was told to mention that this week's sale on elite infantry weapons will end this Tuesday. So remember to buy or get your N-tier weapon before it's too late. And we still got a sale on these unique limited SMG skins. And just to make sure everybody knows, you will get to keep the skin after the Christmas event.
Mm.
And they're actually really, really awesome.
I think I totally like them. It's they're cool.
And the Christmas screenshot competition, or not screenshot, picture competition, ends this Sunday, so you still have a chance to submit your photo. So I guess we're coming towards an end of this Devstream, so just to recap quickly. We've spoken, we've talked about how awesome Cotton Gamer was for hosting a Twitch stream for us last Friday. And as a bonus, not a bonus, just to tell you, the server status, all the servers are A-OK. Go play the game. We've discussed the known issues, what we're going to change, and what we think.
Yeah, but the whole list about we put up the most discussed topics out in a public forum thread that we're gonna constantly update and yeah. So you guys will get some sort of feedback from what is actually going on in here. So you shouldn't be too worried that obviously we do pick up on the issues and we try to fit them into our schedule about what should be done when. So your complaints are not lost. Trust me, we are listening to them. It's just not always possible to fix them just now. So, but at least it should provide you with some sort of a little bit of an explanation of why and when, if or if.
And seeing as we still have a little bit of time left, should we do a little Q&A from the chat?
Should we? Should we take a few questions from the chat? What does the chat say? Does the chat say anything?
Is it silent for once?
Does the chat have any questions? I will take a beer if I can, because then I'll answer questions a lot better.
Makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, the answers are going to be better when I'm drunk. Oh, there's one.
There we got one.
What? That's a question. Well, let's see if we can answer this question, because that's both a question and some demands mixed into one really long sentence. Yakeri is asking, can you please remove infantry first badge or do something about one-shot PTRD on jeeps and motorbikes? I think it little too much when light tanks need 2 hits with a PTRD 1. No, that would be. I think it works pretty well. Yeah. We will not remove the infantry first badge. It's made for a reason, and obviously there's a trade-off with the badges. Obviously, you have to choose to wear it, and then wearing this badge means that there's something else you cannot wear. So it's also it's a choice for the player. So I have to disappoint you here. We're not going to remove that thing. Then there's the Challenger 303 asking soldier voices, ?
Soldier voices. like fire in the hole.
We actually discussed that. We had a little sound meeting yesterday, and we discussed this. I think it would be super cool to have some more voice acting in the game. We watched some clips from different movies, and you always when you have these battle scenes in movies, you actually have a lot of talking and yelling and stuff like that. So that would be cool if we somehow could capture that kind of like the noise of battles, but also as feedback mechanisms. It would be nice to have some more speaking tankers when they could
Reloading.
say reloading, fire when you fire your gun and stuff like that. Grenade when you grenade near you, and enemy spot, and all that stuff that actually comes out in the UI could actually need some voice acting. Personally, I think the voice acting like that should actually be in the language of the soldiers. I know that's probably something that needs to be discussed with some of the other designers on this. It's more like a thing. Do you want to know what the person is saying, or are you cool with the fact that it's just going to be perceived as a sound effect? For example, grenade. If you learn that in Russian, if Russian soldier, he screams it out. I don't know how to say grenade in Russian, but if it's also shown as a text on the screen, localized in your language, then I think it's cooler than that it's actually the correct language it's getting yelled with, rather than it's an American always trying to yell with a Russian accent instead. So I think that would be cool.
I guess one of the dangers might be the sound cluttering the game experience if there are too many voices.
Yeah, that's true. So again, feedback sounds somehow needs to be under control, because standing inside a house with 10 other players and somebody drops a grenade, everybody goes grenade, 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 grenade. It wouldn't just be super annoying. But I guess there's something where you could just shout once and then mute the others, or something like that. It's probably possible to do a nice system on that stuff, but it's definitely something that would enhance the game, I think. So there's a question from Silverlick, but I'm not going to answer that. There's the Burnout DV is asking any ETA on snow maps or new maps in general, especially city maps. Snow maps, I can talk about that. We would like to do some weather style seasoning type maps. Our main thing is that we have made some initial tests on it, but I think it needs to be taken a bit further before we would release it. Then there's the new maps in general. Yes, we are working on new maps in general. You can be sure about that. And then there's the city maps. Again, the city maps is a different type of gameplay. I know a long time ago we had some placeholder maps, all white, no textures style maps, that we did some testing on them, and they were actually pretty fun as a sniper challenge and stuff like that. But we might end up having the same problems that you cannot use tanks, for example. You cannot use tanks. It would be only very specific maps, but the city maps are definitely something that we would like to do as well. We also need a somewhat, I think, a little bit better system for actually creating those maps, because it's just different way of creating maps. Right now our system is built around terrains, where you just actually have a huge terrain and you place a few houses on the terrain. So I think the village map is the only one that actually has some city in it, but it's also a very it's like a whole hugely complicated polygon mesh that's sitting on top of the terrain. So and obviously a city map would be only a super complex polygon mesh. So it would be probably a bit harder for us to build than just, for example, a huge terrain, like we could do a map that was like twice as big as the biggest ones we have, and then make it like an only a tank battle map. We actually discussed this, and I think that's something that's worth trying out to use the encounter game mode and just make a tank only battle with that huge map, and just have the capture zone being like almost like a suicide zone instead. So it's a zone where you do not go. You only go there if the enemy camps and is hiding. So you go there. You can win by going there, but going there with a lot of enemies, you will just get you killed.
So you get a kill zone in the middle.
So the purpose of the map would be to destroy the enemy rather than just capturing a capture zone. The capture zone would only be there to have a way to end the game if the other guys are hiding or something like that. I think that would be worth trying out. Obviously, the war needs to support as well, so we need a slightly better way to detect when to trigger a war battle. Could be when you have a supply line and you have a lot of assault teams meeting. It could be sort of like separating them out and say these infantry guys go for a skirmish battle, and then in parallel we'll start a tank only battle, and then just have that stuff running in parallel. I don't think it's problematic to actually have it running in parallel, but the backend on the server or the war server can't handle that stuff right now. I know our hard-pressed server programmers are actually working on refactoring the what do you call it, the game loop, or the game, the way the servers handle the logic for the strategy game. And once that's been refactored, we can, you could say, move on with the strategy game again. Right now, the strategy game has been put a bit on hold until we get the other things fixed, because the current system is so complicated and it's very hard to debug. So we actually decided that we need to rework the inner core loop before we start to put in even more gameplay mechanics. Short answer is that this current system is like built on an event system, so everything just goes off as it's triggered, and that's just it's probably nice for like a huge banking system or something like that, but for a game it's nice to have something in the game loop. So, but that was a very long and very elaborate answer. Long answer to a very short question.
Should we do one last question before?
What are you talking? I'm just getting warmed up here.
Just getting started. Yeah.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
We got 10 minutes. Let's do a couple more then.
I'm just gonna cherry pick what I want to answer. So, what is Santa bringing you? Westwick saying, Santa, I have no idea. Hopefully some more socks or something. I could use that. Dean 6901 is asking, can we have some more gun and character skins and outfits, please? I think we are adding that slowly. I think our character artist is working on some really cool stuff that I think the recons will really like when it's finished. I'm not going to say
that's not saying too much.
It's part of the it's part of the uniform that is currently not being swapped around, but it's looking damn cool.
That's a teaser.
Oh yeah, you got it. Another faction. Blah blah. Yes, other factions are coming at some point. Not yet, but obviously makes sense because it was a world war. Everybody was at war, except the Swedes.
Well, except the Swedes and the Swiss, but basically every single country.
The Spanish was just going, oh, sure, nah, we'll just wait a little bit. We'll wait a little bit. No.
Well, they did their fair share of fighting in the start 30s.
There's another one.
There's a good question.
Ring of Fire. No, it's just like ETA on the British. They just surely want the British. It's a cool thing with the British actually, because I think people are gonna be. It's gonna be a hard thing when we eventually add the British, because the British, as a base, only have the bolt action. It's going to be really, it's going to be an elite style play experience, because starting up with the bolt action rifle as a new player, for example, that's going to be hard. So, but the bolt action is probably going to be a little bit better than the other bolt actions.
They had the Lee Enfield.
Yep, they had several versions of it. It's an awesome rifle. Let's see, we have some more stuff. Should we? How much time do we have? 7.
That makes for a couple of more questions.
7 questions.
Seven questions.
There's one here. Marv 2.0 is asking, where did Silvermat get his tie from? It looks perfect. That's one for you. I'm just gonna.
Well, I stole it from Reto Gargamel. Notice he wore a tie last week.
Panzer Chewbacca is asking, when can we hope to see the Panthers and smoke on tanks? And why not make a system for prepare defenses as city or map? That's also a bit, there's multiple questions. I guess it's the same old with the Panthers. Yeah, I don't know.
Notice how Robotron has been postponing the Panther every single time somebody asks for it. So remember, next time you ask for a Panther, it's going to be postponed.
The Pledged is asking, when this squad thing is placed, can we get in vehicles when not in the gunner seat? I don't.
Can you read that out loud again?
When this squad thing is placed, can we get in vehicles when not in the gunner seat?
I think he's asking if you're able to join a vehicle or climb into a vehicle when the driver is not in your squad.
That depends on the owner of the vehicle, if he allows it or not. If he allows other than squad members to join or to jump into the vehicle, I think they will always be able to sit on or just take a ride, but it's only the using the guns part that is the annoying part. Let's see. A man 1222345 is get rid of heavy set. My recon can't one hit kill anymore. You can't? That's strange.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's weird. Maybe you're trying to hit people on too far of a distance. That's the in-game voice again. There's one that actually say Wheelman220 is asking if tankers can get a hit directional indicator for the PTRD, much like we do with everything else. That's actually a good suggestion, because you only hear the plunk sound when you're getting hit in the tank. I think that's something to consider for the UI guys to give you more indication on when you're inside the tank. But it's actually, that's one of the things with the tanks, is that they're meant to be paranoid.
You're meant to be paranoid about where
you're meant to be that your advantage is you're protected, and you have guns that can kill stuff fast. But also you lack vision, and you shouldn't drive too close to the action with the tank. Everybody knows that, but people apparently still do it. I played on live here recently, and I was able to mine several King Tigers, because the players who were playing it were just way too close to the capture points where I was. And it was just because you could see that they knew that they were getting into action where they're getting shot at with the small arms, with rifles and stuff. They would stick into the tank, but they knew that if they stick their head out, they would be killed. But they were still on the other hand, they were too close to the action, so it was easy to just run up and just place one in front and one behind, and you got it. So it's not that difficult. I think actually one of the best things to do if you're an infantryman is always to equip some anti-tank mines, because it's then you have trouble with the light tanks though because they're fast, but the heavy tanks are definitely not a problem. And the tank they're a problem if they are positioned in the right place on a good distance, high explosive shells, and then they become really dangerous. But if they start to move up too close, you just take them out with mines. That's
So
easy.
the idea is tanks are supposed to be considered as
If you move-
support vehicles.
Yeah, no, but it's sort of like if you the role switches according to the situation. If you move the tank into close to a capture point, you have to make sure that there's some infantry to protect it, because then it's fine actually, because the infantry could just get rid of the
The incoming dangerous.
and then you can use the tank. But if you're going alone, it's just going to be
It's
a bad
going to be
idea.
pure suicide.
Yeah, it definitely is.
We are about to run out of time. So,
And actually, I have to say, when we play on live, people usually ask us, "Oh, you're never online." So I am online once in a while in the game, but not as much as we would like to do on our retro accounts. But we do actually play.
we play. The
Yeah,
game
and
quite a lot.
it's better for us to try and play with the, you could say, alt accounts. So we have we do set up some play scenarios where we actually go in and try and play something on live, but we obviously don't do it with our retro accounts, because that would produce it as a skewed scenario.
So next time when you're in game, look for Reto Smurf 1, 2, 3.
No, you just can't be sure that the guy you just you just yelled at is not one of us.
Not one of us. So, because it's Christmas, we are not gonna have a Devstream for the next 2 weeks. Well, due to Christmas, of course, and also because of New Year's. So we'll be back on Friday, January 8th. So remember to tune in 2 weeks. So from Reto and all of us, we're gonna say Merry Christmas, Happy Juletid,
Yeah.
Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, season's greetings. Do you know what's called in German?
Herzlich Weihnachten, something. I don't know. Yeah. Sorry, my German is not good.
Well, nonetheless, Merry Christmas.
And we actually also need to make sure that you guys go in and check out some of the Twitchers when they stream. Especially me and Splixen are sometimes in the chat. And if you find us there in the chat, just feel free to ask questions and stuff. It's totally cool. And again, I think that's it. Yeah. And Cotton, great work last Friday.
Say bye.
Yeah. Bye bye.